I'm Dax Ginn, producer, Rocksteady Studios. Going exclusively next-gen for Batman Arkham Knight was determined by one thing, the Batmobile. Integrating the Batmobile into the Arkham experience is something we've wanted to do for a long time, but it was really only the horsepower of next-gen that allowed us to deliver on the power fantasy of driving the Batmobile. It's fast, it's destructive, it's sexy, all of these things really needed next-gen hardware to deliver, and that's what we've done.
Are you conscious about the smaller install base on next-gen? Because it's obviously going to be a big budget game. You guys have been working on it, you said, what, conceptually since 2010?
Yeah.
What, it's 150 million for last gen at the moment, and it's about, what, 10 at the moment for this gen? Are you concerned?
It's exciting to be at the ground floor, you know, part of a new generation that is going to grow, that is incredibly exciting to be one of those initial titles. And for us, it was about what is the gameplay experience that we can deliver. So we had to make that very tough decision. Do we want to stick with the existing capabilities that we know, or do we want to take a risk and deliver an experience that is going to blow people's minds? And that's really what the decision to go exclusively next-gen was all about, exclusively about the Batmobile.
So in terms of evolution, you guys have gone, this is at the end of your trilogy now. How's the gameplay evolved from City to Night?
So Arkham City was a big jump for us in terms of the grapple and glide, the open world structure of the game. We really wanted to just go insane with that for Batman Arkham Knight. So the entirety of Gotham City is built out in the kind of immense scale that this legendary city has, but also with that very intimate detail that I think as a studio we're really well known for. So that was the big kind of graphical challenge for us, was just building out the detail of the city on that sort of scale. Another thing was just the movement of the Batmobile itself, so ensuring that you can move through the city in a way that is completely seamless, that there's no obstacles to the Batmobile. There's nothing that's going to prevent the Batmobile from ripping up the streets, and that's exactly what it does, and that's what Next Gen brings as well.
So it's a brand new Batmobile as well. I mean, where did the inspiration come from for the design?
The design of the Batmobile is a completely original design that we have created in collaboration with DC. Very exciting thing to be able to do, right? But the inspiration really came from our own Batmobile in Arkham Asylum. It wasn't drivable back then, but if you look at the design of the pipes along the side and the fins at the back, there's real graphical and aesthetic connections between the two. The big change, though, is the position of the cockpit. The Arkham Asylum Batmobile was much more like a dragster with the cockpit at the back. For Arkham Knight, we've put the cockpit at the front, much more like a fighter jet, so the Batman can eject straight out, straight into action. That's the efficiency that Batman has.
So across the three games, you have technically gone from a linear narrative into this open world kind of sprawling thing.
Yeah.
How hard is that to deliver a story? Because before you could push the player where you wanted, now you've got this new city was 20 times as big as City. So how do you do that?
20 times bigger than the gameplay of Arkham Asylum, so it's about 5 times bigger than Arkham City. Okay. But you're right, telling a really tight narrative in an open world game is really hard. It's a really, really tough challenge. Arkham Asylum, we knew where the player was going to be at any time, so bombarding them with story elements was kind of pretty easy to do. In Arkham City and now in Arkham Knight, we really have developed new narrative systems in order to ensure that the player is always getting narrative input wherever they go and whatever they do. So the surveillance system has been increased. Batman's got a new holographic communicator allowing him to talk to Commissioner Gordon and Oracle as well as other characters. So we've really thought a lot about how to ensure the narrative is always very, very tight and intimate.
So obviously Knight, he's one of the big characters in the game and you can't talk much about him. But I mean, you work closely with DC to create this character. Yeah. Is this going to the start of this character with DC? I mean, have you discussed this with them?
The design of the character, the Arkham Knight, I mean, you never get an opportunity, right, to design a character that you're going to introduce into the Batman universe. So when that came along, the whole studio just lost it, and we put so much focus and so much energy on it. There's a lot more information to come about this character, so I'm not really going to spoil it by really going into the details of his characterization. But the process of creating him was amazing. He's an epic character for the game itself. I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new stuff in the game, new bat suit for Batman, new kind of design, so you must have spent a lot of time just kind of concepting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the concepting process takes a long time because it's really working through what's not working. So the concept design team at Rocksteady are incredibly talented and get through an amazing amount of work. So starting the process before we even finished Arkham City was critical in really working out where we wanted to take this game. But now that we're here and finally showing it at GDC, it's an amazing thing to look back over everything that we've done, and it's a really proud moment for us at the studio.
So like we were talking about earlier on, this is the first a few kind of batch of next-gen only games. I mean, do you think that the cross-gen games, it's holding back next-gen at the moment?
It's certainly a really difficult decision to make about where you kind of place your horsepower, and for us it's always about the gameplay experience. What technical decisions are going to give us the best gameplay experience we can imagine? So when you think about the Batmobile and what the Batmobile requires to bring that to life, it was kind of a no-brainer. We had to go next gen. So, and I can't speak for any other studios, but it was a fairly simple decision for us. And I'm really glad that Warner Brothers kind of backed that decision and gave us the support to really bring that to life.
And we can expect an explosive end. That's the thing that came out in the press release, right? So we're going to go out with a bang on the franchise, right?
Absolutely. We're going to close the book once and for all on the Arkham Rocksteady trilogy. It's epic.
This is your only warning. Abandon the city, or I will unleash your greatest fears.